Hey, I have been working on a way to basically grab all of these uh, meshes that are exactly the same but have different dimensions, different proportions. Some of them are longer, some of them are oriented differently. So basically what I'm trying to do here is replace all of these that have been placed as a placeholder with something that's a little bit more closer to the form that I want. So now, even if, this is not necessarily the most beautiful high-res feather in the world, but I just wanted to have something that would represent that. So let's even maybe make it a bit more complex and create some sort of a sweep mesh here in the center with a slightly smaller profile. Just so we get like a general idea of what's going on here. I'll get rid of the curve, combine these two, so it's kind of nice to have them combined. And I'll freeze and reset the transform. So because I kind of want my transforms to be at the root of my new geo, because I'm using the root and the tip of this geo to figure out how to replace it. So I commented in things that I thought would be helpful with just understanding how to set it up. So the name, we have to find the name of the geo that we want to use. So this one is going to be new feather. So I already inputted here, but basically you just, copy the name, paste the name. Now we also want to figure out what is the vert, what are the vertices that we want to use to kind of determine the length of our old meshes. So here basically this vertex number 10 and vertex number 14 are the farthermost vertices, and they can help me orient and calculate the length of my new mesh that is going to be replacing them. So I can put it here. So this is going to be 10. This is going to be 14. And then this one will tell the script if I want to instance or duplicate. So I'm actually going to go ahead and instance. And then there's an optional scale by. So if I want to apply some extra scaling, so if I want it to be double the amount or half of the original scale, I can set it here. For now, I'll keep it at 1 to see what happens. So I have my original mesh right here, or sorry, my new mesh right here. I have the vertices from the original meshes, and I have to make sure that they all share the same vert order. So here again, I have at the root here I have vertex number 10, and at the tip I have vertex number 14. And this is the case for all of these meshes here. So we can select a whole bunch of them, and then if I run the script, it should replace them with instances of my original mesh. So now here, if I start deforming, because now this is all instanced, so if I start deforming my original mesh, let's select something like this, you'll see that all of the new ones are deforming as well. Another thing here, you can see that when I push it up, it goes down on these, and when I push it down, it goes up. So there's a way for me to resolve that. If I go before I instance them, what I can do, there's a rotate here. So I can, instead of 90 degrees, I can switch it to minus 90 degrees. And let's select some more just for fun. You have to select only the ones that only the meshes that can be replaced that are exactly the same. And then I'll run it again. And there we go. So now in theory, if I select, for example, a certain area here and start deforming them, there we go. We get a better result that is more aligned to what we're doing. So for example, I could do something like this, right? And I can then deform all of these meshes together. Yeah, So basically, this way I can replace them like that. Now, if I wanted to replace only some of them with a specific mesh and others with the other, I'll just have to select uh, the rest of them from here, input the name of the mesh that it's slightly different. So for example, if this is new feather, now I can duplicate it and call this one maybe new feather B, and then, you know, whatever the difference here is going to be, like maybe here I'll have like some sort of variation. This could be anything, right? And then I can get in here, make sure that in my script I'm mentioning that this is new feather B that I want to replace with, and then I run the script, and there we go. Now we have our new feather applied here, and all I have to do again is, if I want to change it in any way, I can deform it like that. Now, just to give you an idea, I have another like test case here. If I center pivot on this, oops, let's select this guy, center pivot, just move him a bit closer so it's part of them. Just keep in mind you wanna like not have any transforms, so I'll just freeze and reset the transforms. And then this is, what's the name of this mesh? It's torus 12, so let's put it right here. And then here we want to figure out what are the vertices we want to use for the orientation. So we have 102, and then this one is 71. Cool. So that's basically it. That basically is it. We got everything set up. One thing that I want you to keep in mind is I moved the pivot point. So if I, you know, freeze and reset everything here, this is my mesh. What I did here is I centered my pivot and then moved it close to the origin or to the origin, and then I baked my pivot. So now the mesh has a valid transform, so when I zero these out, it will zero out on the world. So either way you want to do it, either at the origin of the world, you can kind of decide all of that, or you can do that and then bake pivot. And then if I select all of these and run the script, you see we get them replaced with this guy and their transforms. Basically, they didn't even have transforms, right? When you look at them, there's no transfers. But basically, what we did is we recreated them by putting these vertices into the script, and then it kind of calculated the transforms on its own. It calculated the size of this one versus the size of these ones, and did its best to replace them with an equivalently sized geometry. And now, because we are editing it with, let's see here, I wanna change my soft selection to volume soft selection so I can actually do this. And because we instanced instead of copying them, now I can edit the topology on all of them at once. And then if it is not oriented the way I want it to be oriented, I'll just have to put like, instead of a -90, it's just gonna be a regular 90 here. So there we go. And then I should be able to control their topology like that. So it's a nice little tool that, yeah, came up as an idea in today's session. So yeah, feel free to try it out. I'll share the script and let me know if it's working. And I hope it helps.